Hi, I'm Ronald Lee. My professor is Dr. Jennifer Thompson. I'm studying the effects of using parallel assessments and standards based curriculum on my seventh grade math class. Reason why I find this so interesting is because I believe this allows me to present to my students a more focused curriculum. My feeling is that standards based curriculum and parallel assessments pretty much go hand in hand in many cases. Standards based curriculum allows the instructor, myself, and my students to take all of this math that we have in front of us and to say, this is what we actually need to learn. This is what you're responsible for. Parallel assessments say that um, not only is this what you need to know, but this is how the problems are going to be presented to you. This is how you're going to solve it. This is what the math looks like. So this allows my students to concentrate on just what they need to know and allows them to understand what is expected of them in my class. The problem statement is there is a problem with my students' ability to solve algebraic expressions. This impacts my students' ability to achieve mastery of the state standards, to understand the lesson, and to be able to take this lesson and to build it going forward during the school year. As I said before, the current curriculum is too broad, too wide, too shallow. I have a lot of parents that call me up. Some of them are engineers, and they're saying to me, I have no idea what I'm supposed to do to help my student. I don't understand what you guys are doing. So, my research question: what effect do parallel assessments and standards based curriculum have on my seventh grade math students' ability to solve algebraic expressions? The product. The product is a pre and post assessment and 3 days of lessons. I'm showing the students what they need to concentrate on and how to develop mastery of the math lesson. This is a big paradigm shift for them, and I'm hoping it's something that they will understand and appreciate because this is a different math class than what they're used to seeing from before. There's pre and post assessments, and there's 3 days of lessons. Not only are the 3 days of lessons, but there's also a lot of exit tickets. There are a lot of worksheets, and there's constant check-in with my students. Do you understand this? Do you understand how to show the math? Maybe you want to do it this way. Maybe you want to do it that way. So there's a lot of feedback in those 3 day lessons for my students. I emphasize only the material that the students need to understand, included in the worksheets and the exit material tickets, so the students know this is what I need to learn to get through this class, to get through this lesson. This is basic taking two sets of data and calculating the mean in both cases. The first assessment establishes the baseline. The second assessment measures student growth. The parallel assessments are used to show the students what is it you need to know, and the problems are basically the same in both the pre and the post assessment. So the same number of problems, same types of problems. The actual numbers change, and some of the verbiage change, but basically these are the same problems in both the pre and post assessments. The results originally were pretty exciting. If you look at it, the pre-assessment score is 9.1, post-assessment score is 13.97. This is an increase of 48%. Hooray, right? However, a large portion of the class, of my class, is satisfied with their grades, and they realize an increase of less than 50%. Some of them realize an increase closer to 5 to 10%. Math just isn't that important to them. The other half of the class is very motivated, and they experienced an increase of 100% or more. Some of them had unbelievable increases in their scores. This is a bar chart that shows the first bar is the pre-assessment coming in close to 9, and the second bar is the post-assessment coming in close to 14. So again, about a 48% increase. My conclusions. Some of my students just don't apply themselves, and they don't see much of a benefit in my class and in math in general. And this is kind of a heartbreak. I went to one girl and I said, you've got a C plus. I can get you to B minus. And she said, Mr. Lee, last year I got a D. This year I got a C. I'm so happy. I have another girl who had C's and C pluses, and I said, you work with me, I can get you up to a B. And she said, my father's a tattoo artist. I want to be a tattoo artist. So God bless her. She has goals. I bet she makes her goals, and she's way ahead of a lot of the students because of that. And maybe I can get a tattoo out of that. On the other hand, some of my students are highly motivated, and they could use this method, this product, to help them do really well in school, in my class. So they saw a large spike in their scores, and hopefully they can use this new mindset to continue to see success in my class. Generally speaking, no matter who these students are or what their goals are, most of my students seemed to like this instructional model, and they seemed to feel like it was helping them understand what to do in my class. Strengths of the methodology. This is a basically calculating mean scores off of 2 sets of data. This is very quick to do. It's easy to analyze. It's ubiquitous. People understand it. It's not something that I have to explain when I'm showing my results to other people. This is a very common way of looking at this data. The students also going in are easily able to study the pre-assessment. It really helps them understand this is what you need to do, and this is what you need to do to be successful in my class. So those are two of the things that I thought were really powerful here. Weakness. This is a very small class, and so it's a small sample class size, and I wish it was bigger. This last point I'm going to talk about on the next slide, so I'm just going to skip this and go on to the next slide. What influenced the study's results? Like I said, this is from the previous slide. First of all, this is the first period of the day. And these kids come in, half of them are asleep, and half of them leave at the end of the period and they're still asleep. They're just not that motivated. There's attendance issues. I have 2 students that are absent all the time, and then I have a couple other students that were probably absent at least one of these lessons. That the 3-day lesson that were between the two assessments, I'd say they're probably absent at least once. So attendance issues were a big deal. And like I said before, some of these students just don't care. They're just happy getting through the class and getting on to the next class of the day. And I have a lot of students with special needs. I have at least 2 students who are ADD. One of my students has huge behavior problems from last year and this year. And I've got at least another 3 students that really have some big issues. They're testing down about the 4th grade level. So it's kind of hard to help them as much as I can some other students. Areas for further investigation. If I could do this again, and if I could repeat this investigation, I would want to dive down. I would want to see what kind of problems are my students missing, and what am I seeing as a problem for some of their solutions. Is it fractions, decimals, double negatives, or something like that going on that I can help them with? I would like to repeat this with different lessons, different chapters within my book. I would like to repeat this with my other classes. My other classes have a lot of accelerated students, and a lot of my other classes are gifted students, which are the top of the these are the best of the best. And I would love to see what this product does to help them, or if they appreciate it, or if it means anything to them. I'd also like to take this and have other students within our school use the same product to see how they're, if they can, what kind of results they can get. And finally, I would like to find out what are my families of my students experiencing at home, because I was not able to talk to any of them about this, but are the students seeing things? Do they mention this to their parents? Is there something that I can learn from that? So I would like to thank all of you for these 2 semesters. It has been a tremendous experience for me. Thank you very, very, very much.